Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay, and Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair bring you Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. It's time once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks, under the direction of Al Lewis. Well, there's no doubt about it. The hopped-up jalopy has replaced the tandem bicycle in most of our high schools. And occasionally, reckless driving poses a problem to the faculty. Our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High, became acquainted with this problem last week.
It was on Tuesday, to be exact, and I became intimately acquainted with the problem. As I was crossing the street, a wild-eyed kid bore down on me in something that looked like a torpedo with 4 wheels and a raccoon tail. If I hadn't been wearing my gym shoes, I would now be welded to the grill of a Model A. At breakfast Wednesday morning, I discovered that Mrs. Davis, my landlady, was concerned about this problem, too.
I tell you, Connie, it's getting so dangerous that a body doesn't want to walk in the street anymore.
Not if it has a head on it, it doesn't.
The poor traffic cops have their hands full.
Well, the police can't correct this recklessness by themselves. We've got to do something about it in our schools. Say, how do you like this for an idea?
Wonderful, Connie. It's just what this town needs.
But I haven't told it to you yet.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I've been seeing a lot of my sister Angela lately. She's so absent-minded, poor dear.
Yes, I know, Mrs. Davis, but please listen to this. I'm going to suggest to Mr. Conklin that we form our own student police force. It would be made up of students who drive their own cars, and they'd have the power to arrest anyone who violated traffic laws.
That sounds good. It's just like self-government, isn't it?
It's more like self-preservation.
Another thing you should do is to start a class in driving at Madison.
You might have something there, Mrs. Davis. You know, Clay City High has a driving class.
I know it. And their principal, Jason Brill, is Mr. Conklin's arch rival. Why, he even donated his own car for the class.
I remember reading about it. Mr. Conklin should certainly go for my ideas, if only to show he's as progressive-minded as Mr. Brill. Oh, that's Walter Denton. He's driving me down to school. I'll just be a minute, Walter. See you tonight, Mrs. Davis.
All right, Connie. Now, don't forget to tell Mr. Conklin your ideas about the student police force and the driving class.
I won't.
And remember our safety motto.
Which one is that?
Which one is what?
Our safety motto.
Oh, that's a dandy one.
Yes, it should catch on in no time. Well, goodbye again, Mrs. Davis.
Yes, indeed.
Good morning, Walter.
Good morning to you, all fairest of the faculty. Did you notice anything different today?
Different? Let's see. Oh, yes. You've got jam on your face instead of peanut butter.
No, I don't mean about me. I mean about my car. Take a good look.
Well, for heaven's sake, who stole your fenders? And what are those outlandish pipes sticking out for?
I know you're not very mechanical-minded, Miss Brooks, so I'll make it very simple. Stretch Snodgrass and I hopped it up in auto shop at school. You see, first of all, we dropped the chassis springs, we put in a lightweight camshaft, 2 Winfield downdraft pots, and a 4-port Riley super-speed high-compression head. Do you follow?
Not quite. What did you say after you said, I'll make it very simple?
Just hop in, and I'll show you how this heap of heavenly hot iron can dig out. Comfy, Miss Brooks?
Snug as a bug in the engine room of a destroyer. My legs are sort of tangled up with these pipes and valves, but what's this strange thing sticking out of the engine that looks like a thermos jug?
It's a thermos jug. I strap my lunch to the engine because Mother likes me to have a hot meal these days.
Well, nothing like a nice bologna and battery acid sandwich. Let's get started, Walter.
Hang on, Miss Brooks. I'll turn her over. Here we go.
Connie Brooks to control tower. Connie Brooks to control tower. Please give us a clearance. We're taking off for the next airport. Over and out, and across the river and into the trees.
Say, Miss Brooks, you look a little blue. What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong. What color do you get when you hold your breath for 4 minutes and 9...
I didn't mean to frighten you. Uh-oh. Mr. Conklin just got out of his car up ahead. I better park somewhere else.
I'll talk to you about your driving later on, young man. Right now, I've got something to take up with our beloved principal.
Okay, Miss Brooks. See you.
Good morning, Mr. Conklin. May I speak with you for a moment?
You'll have to wait until I look over this rear fender of mine, Miss Brooks. My dear wife used the car yesterday, backed it out of the garage in her customary side saddle manner. Women drivers. Gad, it'll cost me $10 to have that fender straightened out.
Oh, not necessarily, Mr. Conklin. You could put it into the school shop, and the boys will be happy to fix it for nothing.
Just what I was thinking. The boys in the school shop will be happy to fix it for nothing. Now, what is it you wanted to talk to me about?
The reckless driving among our teenage citizens. The local police force just can't cope with it alone. Now, what I had in mind was a student police force with authority to discipline themselves.
A student police force? But whoever heard of such a thing? It's preposterous.
No, it isn't, Mr. Conklin. The kids would be ashamed to be caught driving recklessly by their own friends. And in conjunction with the police force, I think we should have a driving class at Madison.
You mean you are actually proposing that we teach our students to drive an automobile during the regular school hours?
Those who need it, yes. We could... Oh, look who just got to school.
It's Mr. Boynton, isn't it?
But he's behind you. How could you tell?
By the way your eyeballs spun around in their sockets.
They always do that when I get something in my eye, especially him.
Good morning, Miss Brooks, Mr. Conklin.
Hello, Boynton.
Sir, there's something I want to suggest to you.
In a moment, Boynton. First, I'd like you to listen to an idea I just had.
Yes, sir?
What would you think of our instituting in this school a student police force?
A student police force?
Exactly. One with authority to discipline each and every offender among the student body.
Say, that sounds like a fine idea.
You really like it?
I love it.
I hate it. I mean, that was only part of it.
Please, Miss Brooks, please. I'd like to hear what Mr. Boynton has to say to me.
Well, sir, it was just that I read where Jason Brill over at Clay City has organized a driving class for the students, and I think we should follow suit.
Some days it doesn't pay to get out of bed.
A driving class, eh? Now, that's what I call a sterling suggestion. An extremely original thought, Boynton. It is with a great deal of pleasure, therefore, that I hereby appoint you Madison's driving instructor. You will give your first lesson at 2 o'clock today.
Oh, but Mr. Conklin, I can't give any lessons today. I've got too full a schedule. Besides, this isn't a job for just one person. From what I've read of other schools, it's usually operated by a team of teachers.
Oh, I see. Well, who else should we get?
Well, how about Miss Brooks here?
Miss Brooks? Boynton, are you suggesting that we have a woman teach our already reckless drivers how to operate a motor vehicle in safety? Isn't that like carrying coals to Newcastle?
I don't mind. I'll wear gloves.
Well, I've driven with Miss Brooks many times, sir, and I can assure you she's extremely competent behind the wheel.
I suppose there's nothing else we can do. So against my better judgment, I hereby appoint you one of the instructors, Miss Brooks.
Oh, you won't be sorry, Mr. Conklin. I'll make you glad you picked me. You'll see I'll do a great job with these kids. I'll get them right in line. Yes, sir.
Step back, Miss Brooks. You're fogging my glasses.
Yes, Mr. Conklin. Now, for the head student traffic officer, I'd like to submit the name of Walter Denton.
Walter Denton? But I've seen that idiot drive. To propose Walter Denton as a police officer is devoid of any spark of intelligence, Miss Brooks.
But you're wrong, Mr. Conklin. Don't you see, this is a perfect example of criminal psychology. By making the worst offender a law enforcement agent, he is automatically eliminated as a reckless driver.
Well, that does seem to be a pretty logical argument, sir.
Wait a minute, both of you. While you were talking, I was thinking. Why don't we appoint as head of the student police force somebody like Walter Denton?
That idiot driver?
Don't you get it? By making the worst offender a law enforcement agent, he is automatically eliminated as a reckless driver.
Mr. Conklin, that's a stroke of sheer genius. Let me shake your hand, sir.
Here. Well, Miss Brooks, do you care to add anything to my little plan?
Yes, sir, I would, but there's one thing that prevents me.
Oh, what's that?
I can't seem to get my words out of your mouth.
Brush your teeth with Colgate. Colgate Dental Cream. It cleans your breath.
What a toothpaste.
While it cleans your teeth.
Colgate toothpaste.
Cleans your breath.
What a toothpaste.
While it cleans your teeth.
Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. And the Colgate way stops tooth decay best. More than 2 years' research showed the Colgate way of brushing teeth right after eating helps stop more decay for more people than ever before reported in dentifrice history. Yes, the Colgate way stops tooth decay best. Better than any other home method of oral hygiene. No other dentifrice, ammoniated or not, has proof of such results. And you should know that Colgate, while not mentioned by name, was the one and only toothpaste used in the research on tooth decay recently reported in Reader's Digest. So always follow the Colgate way to clean your breath while you clean your teeth. And stop tooth decay best.
Brush your teeth with Colgate. Colgate Dental Cream. It cleans your breath.
What a toothpaste.
While it cleans your teeth.
And the Colgate way stops tooth decay best.
Well, right after lunch period, Mr. Boynton had to go down to the biology supply house. I wanted him to stay and help me with the driving lessons, but he said he couldn't afford to miss a great opportunity. It seems the supply house had just received a rare shipment by airmail. As I recall, they were either English angleworms or Anglish ingleworms. In any event, I had to stop in Mr. Conklin's office for further instructions.
Well, Miss Brooks, as faculty advisor to the new student police force, you'll be pleased to know that Mr. Stone, the head of the Board of Education, is 100% behind my plan.
Good.
He had one suggestion, moreover, which I believe to be sound. The force will function as a policing agency for both students and faculty. If a teacher is caught violating a traffic law in this area, he or she will be punished accordingly.
That sounds fair.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, I have before me a list of possible penalties for the guilty ones. As you know, we can't fine the students, and it would be inequitable to impose cash fines upon the teachers.
Inequitable and uncollectible.
Quite. So, for the first offender, I have decided that the penalty will be mowing the lawn every day for a month and cleaning all the windows.
All the windows in the school?
No, all the windows in my house.
This is a school project. The board would never stand for anybody doing your personal work, Warden. I mean, Mr. Conklin.
On second thought, nothing succeeds like good old KP. Yes, that's it. When we really want to make an example of someone, we'll do what we did in the Army. We'll hustle him up to the cafeteria, hand him a mop, and say, "Get with it, Matilda, make those floors shine."
What branch of the wax were you in? Now, about the driving class, Mr. Conklin, there's one minor detail we've overlooked.
What's that, Miss Brooks?
We don't have an automobile. It'll take quite a bit of time for the board to provide a vehicle for us.
Well, borrow one temporarily.
All right, I will. Mr. Conklin, may I borrow your car for the driving lesson today?
My car? You must be joking. You don't think I'd entrust my automobile to a gang of scatterbrained, bumbling jitterbugs, do you?
But, sir, Jason Brill donated his car to Clay City High.
Jason Brill?
Yes, sir, and every paper in the city ran his picture and a nice story about him.
The silver one on the end is the ignition key.
Wait up a minute, Stretch. Stretch, I want to talk to you.
Who wants to talk to me?
Huh, don't let the black turtleneck sweater and the pilot's goggles fool you. It's me, Walter.
Well, for goodness sake. What are you dressed up like that for, Walter? Going to a masquerade?
Of course not. No, I've just been commissioned captain of the Madison High Safety Patrol.
No kidding. When do you go overseas?
I don't. It's a local office. I'm head of the student police force. You see, I just got my orders from the Board of Education. Mr. Stone himself told me to be sure and make an example out of any traffic violators. That includes teachers, too.
No fooling.
It's a big responsibility, Stretch.
You know something, Walter? I can see a change in you already.
You can?
Sure, you got jam on your face instead of peanut butter.
Sometimes I wonder how we got to be such good friends.
Oh, look who's coming in, Walter. It's Miss Brooks.
Oh, she hasn't seen me since I put this black outfit on. I'll slip the goggles over my eyes and see if she recognizes me.
Okay. Hi, Miss Brooks. Look who's here. Recognize him?
I'd know him anywhere. Baron von Richthofen.
No, ma'am, it's me, Walter Denton. Now, this is the outfit I'm going to wear for tracking down traffic criminals. Well, I've got to get ready to go on patrol, Miss Brooks. Will you excuse me?
Of course, Baron. Walter.
See you later, Captain Denton.
At ease, my man. Well, see you at the lineup, Miss Brooks.
I'm looking forward to it. Well, Stretch, Mr. Conklin sent his car over here to be repaired. Could you tell me where it is?
Oh, it's right there. That's the one I just finished working on.
You?
Yes, ma'am. I straightened out a fender for him. It's as good as new now.
Oh, fine.
Also, I had an extra hour to kill in the shop, so I went under the hood and fixed up Mr. Conklin's clutch, retimed his distributor, and checked his ignition system.
But I've got to give a lesson in that car.
Oh, don't worry about that, Miss Brooks. What I done couldn't make too much difference. Not when I had to work in the dark like I did.
In the dark?
The bulb burned out in my work light. I did the whole job in total blackness.
But why didn't you put another bulb in the work light?
My motto is, don't tackle no new trouble till you conquer your old trouble. Anyhow, I better tell you about a few simple changes I made in the mechanism. I discovered them after I got the light fixed.
I wish I knew more about self-hypnosis. Go on, Stretch.
Well, first of all, to let out the clutch, you use the brake pedal instead.
That's a pretty simple change. All I have to do is put my right shoe on my left foot. Please continue.
Well, I jazzed up the motor so it can really dig out, only you use a hand throttle. The gas pedal now acts as the brake.
It's reversed in the glove compartment?
No, ma'am. I eliminated reverse. And also first and second. And I fixed the ignition so you have to turn it on from under the hood. That way nobody can steal the car.
Who'd want it? Stretch, before I take this flying saucer out of here, are you quite certain I won't have to steer from the back seat?
Gosh, no, Miss Brooks. That'd be dangerous.
Stretch, remind me to mark your next test paper with an empty fountain pen. All right, kids, quiet down. Now, we've completed our basic blackboard work on courtesy of the road, and now we're going to have a practical demonstration out here on the street. Harriet Conklin, I believe your hand was up first.
Yes, Miss Brooks. I'm very anxious to learn how to drive. Of course, I don't know how Daddy will feel about it.
It shouldn't take long to find out. He's standing right at your elbow.
How observant. What is all this, Harriet?
I've wanted to learn for a long time, Daddy. Mother says she thinks I should.
Oh, she does. Well, won't that be bully for me? Mine will be the only car in town being driven by two fender assassins.
Please, Daddy. I'll be very careful. And Miss Brooks is here to teach me.
Exactly. I refuse to place my own flesh and blood in jeopardy.
But, Mr. Conklin, Harriet has just as much right to take advantage of this class as any of the other kids.
You said yourself, Daddy, that this school is run on democratic principles. Please let me learn.
Oh, all right. But you're not going to learn from Miss Brooks. I personally will give you your first lesson. Get in, Harriet.
But, Daddy, what'll Miss Brooks...
Your precious Miss Brooks can climb in with us. Now, come on. Maybe I can teach you to operate this vehicle and still eliminate some of the natural female driving instincts.
Before you start, Mr. Conklin, the ignition is on, but I think
Will
you should know...
please get in?
Yes, sir. Mr. Conklin, I'd like to explain something about the mechanism of this car. It's got a new kind...
You want to explain something to me about my own car? Now, that is what I call rich. What are you laughing at?
I guess I'm just a copycat.
Let's get started, Daddy. I'm anxious to get the principles down pat.
When we get started, I know one principle you'll have down.
Ladies, stop the chattering, please. We're about to begin. Now, first, Harriet, to start the car, I press this little button on the dashboard. Firmly, like this.
It didn't start.
No, but all the lights went on.
I'll try it again. There we are. Now, I'll just shift it into first gear. What's this? The clutch won't move.
Of course not. You've got to step on the brake.
Step on the brake? To start my car?
You depress that brake pedal, Harriet. Let's surprise your daddy.
Okay, here goes.
Good heavens, what happened?
Watch where you're driving, Daddy.
We're going 50 miles an hour, and I haven't shifted into high yet.
Sure you have, Mr. Conklin. There isn't any first or second gear.
Oh. Isn't any first or second gear?
Boy, this car can really dig out, Daddy.
One more turn like that, and they'll dig us out of the upholstery.
Well, this is awful. We're at the mercy of this steel monster. I've got to stop it.
I would if I were you. Just step on the gas pedal.
The gas pedal?
You just went through a red light, Daddy.
Now you're on the wrong side of the street. Please, sir, jam your foot down on the gas pedal.
She's taken leave of her senses. We've got a maniac in the car with her.
Calm down, Daddy. Maybe you ought to turn off the motor.
What? The motor? Oh, yes. Yes, that's what I'll do. I'll turn off the motor. But the ignition switch. Where's the ignition switch?
That's up front, under the hood.
Oh, good. I just step out and I'll walk up to the... Under the hood!
Mr. Conklin, there's a streetcar.
Oh, it's all right, Miss Brooks. Daddy's passing it on the left.
I know. It's coming towards us.
There's only one way to stop this juggernaut. I'll try to ease it over the sidewalk up ahead and bring it to stop against one of those hedges. Oh, here's a hedge that looks nice and bushy.
Well, what do you know? They trimmed it.
Eve Arden as our Miss Brooks returns in just a moment, but first...
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl.
Tonight? Yes, tonight. Show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a Luster Cream shampoo. Luster Cream, world's finest shampoo. No other shampoo in the world gives you Kay Daumit's magic blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Better than a soap, better than a liquid. Luster Cream is a dainty cream shampoo. Leaves hair 3 ways lovelier. Fragrantly clean, free of loose dandruff, glistening with sheen. Soft, manageable. Even in hardest water, Luster Cream lathers instantly. So gentle, Luster Cream is wonderful even for children's hair. Tonight? Yes, tonight, try Luster Cream shampoo.
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a luster cream shampoo.
And now, once again, here is our Miss Brooks.
Well, as soon as we determined that no one was injured, Harriet tried to console her father about the condition of his car.
The insurance company will take care of your car, Daddy. They may even get you a brand new one.
Oh, you're right at that, Harriet. It could have been a lot worse, couldn't it?
Turn your head slowly to the left, Mr. Conklin.
What?
Stop in the name of the law.
Now, that's what I call a timely command.
Why, it's Walter Denton.
So it is. Well, you just keep your nose out of this, Denton.
You will kindly refer to me as Captain Denton. You forget, sir, I was commissioned by your superior officer, Mr. Stone, head of the Board of Education.
What? But there's no reason for him to hear this.
Not unless you're recalcitrant.
Nice word, Captain Denton.
Thanks, Miss Brooks. May I borrow your pencil, please, sir?
My pencil? Oh, yes, of course. Here you are, Captain. We were just driving along at a normal rate of speed, but suddenly things
How do you
go...
spell psychopathic?
Psychopathic. Psychopathic. Now, you don't have to enter too specific a report about this.
Driving down Main Street like a psychopathic idiot.
What?
Psycho.
Quiet. Look here, Denton. Officer Denton. Couldn't we talk this over, Walter? Walter, my boy? Son?
I'm sorry, Mr. Conklin. It's extremely difficult for me in this instance, but I must be ruthless.
It is difficult for him, Mr. Conklin. Walter's naturally very rude.
Here you are, sir. It's written on the ticket.
Oh, where my glasses fell off when we stopped this booby trap. I can't...
Here, I'll read it for you, Mr. Conklin. It says, for offenses too offensive to mention, starting this evening, the prisoner will serve 30 days on KP.
KP? Me? But I can't. I won't. Something must be done about this. Well, don't sit there, Miss Brooks. Tell me what I can do.
Pick up your mop, Matilda. Those floors must shine tonight.
This is Vern Smith reminding you to tune in next week to another Our Miss Brooks show, brought to you by Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair, and Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay. Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, is produced by Larry Burns, written by Al Lewis, with the music of Wilbur Hatch. Mr. Boynton is played by Jeff Chandler, Mr. Conklin by Gail Gordon. Others in tonight's cast were Jane Morgan, Dick Crenna, Gloria McMillan, and Leonard Smith.
You want a beauty soap or a beauty bath.
And your bath becomes a beauty bath when you change to proper cleansing with Palmolive soap.
For bathing with this beauty soap brings you the full beautifying effects of Palmolive's mild and gentle lather, proved by doctors to bring most women lovelier complexions in just 14 days.
Bath-size Palmolive is designed to give you everything you need for all-over beauty care. Fragrance for daintiness, mildness for loveliness, purity for gentleness, big bath size for thriftiness.
So get big bath size Palmolive. So mild, so pure, so right for all of you.
If you like mysteries that are as full of chuckles as chills, be sure to hear Mr. and Mrs. North every Tuesday over this same network. And don't miss the exciting and laughable adventures of these amateur detectives. Hear Mr. and Mrs. North every Tuesday night. And be with us again next week at this same time for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks. Bob Lamont speaking. Stay tuned now for Jack Benny. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay, and Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair bring you Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. It's time once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks under the direction of Al Lewis. Well, Madison High School instituted a course in automobile driving a short time ago, and our Miss Brooks, who teaches English there, was put in charge. She's had over a week to get used to her additional duties, but she still isn't very happy about them.
And why should I be? Most of the students who enroll in the course take one lesson and then drive as if they're on the Indianapolis Speedway. As a teacher, I've never minded marking my pupils, but I have a definite aversion to having them mark me. Last Thursday at breakfast, my landlady offered a few consoling remarks.
I know it's a lot of additional work, Connie, but think of the satisfaction involved. Not just to you, but to the entire profession.
You mean the medical profession?
No, the teaching profession. Look what you're doing to help the traffic problem.
Well, I have eased the traffic problem a bit. Since I started teaching, there are at least 10 fewer cars on the road.
It's not only traffic, Connie. Your students learn courtesy to pedestrians, too.
Oh, you're right about that, Mrs. Davis. That's one thing I absolutely insist on. Each of my pupils must take a half hour off to visit the hospital his particular pedestrian is in.
You can kid if you like, Connie, but you're doing a fine service, and you should enjoy doing it.
I wonder how you'd enjoy teaching a student like Stretch Snodgrass, Mrs. Davis.
Is it difficult for Stretch to drive a car?
It's difficult for Stretch to spell car. He almost got me into a real jam the other day. We got into some heavy traffic, and I asked him to let me have the wheel.
How did that get you into a jam?
He took it off and handed it to me. Oh, well, I'll get used to it, I suppose.
Of course you will. Now, you finish eating, Connie. I've got some chores to do out in the kitchen. Want any more of anything?
No, thanks. There are still some slices of French toast left over. I hate to see them wasted. That's Walter Denton. They won't be wasted. Come on in, Walter. The latch is off.
Miss Brooks, we who are about to die salute you.
Salute acknowledged. What do you want with your French toast, sugar or jam?
Oh, didn't you hear me, Miss Brooks? I am the bearer of extremely tragic tidings.
I'm sure they can wait until you've had a little breakfast. Now sit down.
All right. But I had one breakfast at home, and then I just stopped by Harriet Conklin's house, and she insisted I have another breakfast with her.
Oh, I see.
So I'll just eat a couple of these plain.
Here you are, Walter. Now, don't try to talk while you're eating. I don't want to hear a word out of you until you're all finished.
So be it. It's like this, Miss Brooks. As you know, Miss Brooks, I am the manager of the Madison High School Orchestra. And as you also know, this is the weekend of the big music festival at Oakhurst, wherein the high school bands from all over the state compete for a silver cup.
Go on.
Now, I'm well aware of the fact that you have your own problems, Miss Brooks, but you've always been interested in mine in the past, and it is my fond hope that you continue to be interested in them, especially this one. Are you interested, Miss Brooks?
I'm so interested it frightens me. But please get to the point a little more rapidly, Walter.
Okay. The point is, our beloved principal, old Marblehead Conklin, Mr. Conklin, he insists on going on this trip and playing his tuba with the band.
Mr. Conklin wants to play with the band?
Yes, ma'am. I've stood for many things from that man, but his tuba is just too much for me to swallow.
Especially after 3 breakfasts. But, Walter, I didn't think faculty members were eligible to play in the band.
Well, they're not. But he thinks he can get by on a technicality. You see, Jason Brill, the principal of Clay City High, got special permission last year to do a violin solo with their band. And Mr. Conklin feels that anything Mr. Brill can do with his violin, he can do with his tuba.
I'd like to hear him try Flight of the Bumblebee.
It's no laughing matter, Miss Brooks. He's sneaked into band practice so often lately that they're practically ruined. Unless they get to practice by themselves in Oakhurst, our chances for winning are sub-nil.
That's about as poor as chances can get. Is the band going up to Oakhurst after school today?
Yes, ma'am. And you've got to see that they go without Mr. Conklin and his 39 pounds of stale plumbing.
But why me, Walter?
Because someone very near and dear to your heart has the interest of the band very near and dear to his heart.
You mean?
None other.
Since when is Mr. Boynton so interested in music?
Well, since he bet Mr. DeWitt, my history teacher, that Madison would win the band contest.
But Mr. Boynton doesn't bet. He's opposed to gambling. He won't take a chance on anything. More's the pity.
Oh, he didn't bet money. Just a new hat.
Mr. Boynton doesn't wear hats, Walter?
The hat isn't for him, it's for you. He wants you to have it for Christmas. Of course, I just happen to be eavesdropping at the proper time. This is all a big surprise.
Yes, it is, wasn't it? I'd like to see the band win the contest too, Walter. Hat or no hat. Mr. Boynton or no Mr. Boynton.
Let's not go overboard.
But what I'm trying to say, Walter, is this. How can we keep Mr. Conklin from playing in Oakhurst with the band?
There's only one way, Miss Brooks. By sabotaging his tuba. That's a very hard instrument to replace. After all, tubas don't grow on trees.
It's a good thing they don't. If Isaac Newton had been hit by a tuba instead of an apple, we wouldn't have any gravity today.
Hi, Miss Brooks. Going into Daddy's office?
Yes, Harriet. What kind of a mood is he in?
Very good for Daddy. He's practicing on his tuba. I just came out of his office.
With that wind behind you, I'll bet you came out faster than you went in.
Daddy got a new teacher last week. He's really working at it this time.
Who's he taking lessons from, Jack Benny?
No, ma'am. As close as I can recall, his teacher's name is Pendarvis T. Marleybone.
That's close enough.
Miss Brooks, I know that Daddy wants to play with our band in the contest, but confidentially, I don't think he'll help their chances any. So if you can think of any way...
I've been all through this with Walter Denton, Harriet. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a very important date.
A date?
Yes, with 39 pounds of stale plumbing. See you later, dear.
Good luck, Miss Brooks. Let me know how you come out.
Stick around. You might have to catch me.
Come in.
I know you're practicing, Mr. Conklin, and I don't like to disturb you.
That's very considerate, Miss Brooks. Good day.
But I couldn't help stopping by to wish you luck with the band contest.
Well, thank you, Miss Brooks.
What selection have you chosen for your solo?
I thought I'd try something a little out of the ordinary for my particular instrument. The Flight of the Bumblebee. Do you think that would be effective?
Oh, yes, sir. That should really knock 'em deaf. Mr. Conklin, if I keep very quiet, would you mind letting me stand here and listen to you practice? There's time before my class begins.
I didn't know you were so interested in music, Miss Brooks.
Oh, yes, indeed. And the tuba's my favorite instrument.
Really? Since when?
Since I first heard you play one. I'll never forget that day, Mr. Conklin. It was about 6 weeks ago. I passed by the music room, and you were playing the beautiful Blue Danube.
But how can you remember so clearly?
The rest of the band was playing Kiss Me Again. That is, they soon realized their mistake, and you all played beautifully together. So much so, Mr. Conklin, that lately I've been thinking of taking up the tuba again.
Again?
Yes, sir. I took several lessons on it when I was a little girl.
But isn't a tuba an awfully heavy instrument for a little girl?
That's what my mother thought. So I took the lessons on a piccolo. I never did get anywhere, though. I guess there just wasn't any incentive. But now that I have a virtuoso right in the same school, well, would you give me a few pointers, Mr. Conklin?
Well, Miss Brooks,
I have a friend who played the tuba with the Philharmonic. I could ask him, I suppose, but I figure why take lead when you can get platinum?
Oh, you're so right. What would you like to know, my dear?
Well, I'm afraid we'll have to start with the fundamentals. It's been months since I was a little girl. How do you hold the tuba, maestro?
Here, I'll show you. Just take it in your left arm.
Like this?
Not quite. Hold it more as if it were a baby. There. Have you got it? Have you got a firm grip on it?
No, sir. Oh, dear, I've ruined your wonderful tuba.
Oh, let's see it. Oh, thank goodness there's no damage done. None whatsoever.
I guess I was pressing. Please, Mr. Conklin, could I take another crack at it? I mean, would you show me the proper way to hold it?
But I've told you, Miss Brooks, hold it like you would a baby.
Like this?
Yes, only not so high. And you've got to have such a much firmer, careful, Miss Brooks. If that's how you'd hold a baby, it's a good thing you're not a nurse.
Is your beautiful tuba ruined this time?
Yes, Miss Brooks, it is. There's a big crack in the bell, and the mouthpiece is jammed into the horn. It'll take a week to repair it.
Oh, then you won't be able to play in the contest tomorrow.
Oh, yes, I will. I can borrow a tuba from a friend of mine in Oakhurst. Fortunately, his instrument is out of your reach. 450 miles from here.
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Conklin. Darn these short arms.
Brush your teeth with Colgate. Colgate Dental Cream. It cleans your breath.
What a toothpaste.
While it cleans your teeth.
Colgate toothpaste.
Cleans your breath.
What a toothpaste.
While it cleans your teeth.
Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. And the Colgate way stops tooth decay best. More than 2 years' research showed the Colgate way of brushing teeth right after eating helps stop more decay for more people than ever before reported in dentifrice history. Yes, the Colgate way stopped tooth decay best. Better than any other home method of oral hygiene. No other dentifrice, ammoniated or not, has proof of such results. And you should know that Colgate's, while not mentioned by name, was the one and only toothpaste used in the research on tooth decay recently reported in Reader's Digest. So always follow the Colgate way to clean your breath while you clean your teeth. And stop tooth decay best.
Brush your teeth with Colgate. Colgate Dental Cream. It cleans your breath.
What a toothpaste.
While it cleans your teeth.
And the Colgate way stops tooth decay best.
Well, by the time I met Mr. Boynton in the cafeteria for lunch, I still hadn't thought of a way to keep Mr. Conklin from playing with the band. Just before I went up to get my dessert, I told Mr. Boynton of my dilemma, hoping he might be able to help. As always, he paid rapt attention to what I was saying, then came up with a brilliant suggestion.
Why not try the cherry pie today, Miss Brooks?
Either you haven't been listening, or I've been talking through my lima beans. What I'm trying to say, Mr. Boynton, is that so far Mr. Conklin is still going to perpetrate his tuba with the school band.
Well, there must be something we can do to stop him. This means quite a bit to me personally.
Really? In what way, Mr. Boynton?
Well, I'm unalterably opposed to gambling, as you know, but in this instance I did make a small wager with Mr. DeWitt that our school would win the Oakhurst contest.
A wager? You didn't.
It's just the price of a new hat.
Oh, what a cute idea. How much does the bet amount to in cash?
Oh, it isn't important, really. Just the thought behind it that counts.
That's very true, but just for kicks, how much money is at stake?
Well, $2.
Seems like enough. I can surely get a one-propeller job for that. But to get back to Mr. Conklin, Walter told me in class that the band was going up in individual cars.
And Mr. Conklin's going in one of them?
No, Walter's seen to it that each car is completely filled with students and instruments. There's just no room for Mr. Conklin.
Well, that's promising. His own car was pretty badly banged up last week, wasn't it?
Yes, but it's in the school auto shop and should be ready today.
Should it?
Yes, it shouldn't. Say, you might have an idea there, Mr. Boynton.
Who's been working on his car, Miss Brooks?
Probably someone very competent, but Stretch Snodgrass also spends a lot of time in the shop.
And Stretch Snodgrass isn't the most brilliant student at school, is he?
No, Stretch Snodgrass isn't the most brilliant student at school.
Stretch Snodgrass may not be the most brilliant, but he's sure loaded with charm.
Well, just the fellow we wanted to see. Pull up a chair, Stretch.
Yes, take this chair right here.
In a minute. I ain't et yet.
Please, Stretch. I haven't eaten yet.
Well, you're on a diet. I ain't. Gosh, I can't decide what to take today. I'm in a real mental quarry.
Please, one Marblehead in school is enough.
What's the reason for your quandary, Stretch?
I can't decide whether to take the chicken a la king, the lamb stew, or the meatloaf.
Why don't you wait till tomorrow and take the corned beef hash? Then you'll get all three.
Say, that's a swell idea. Wait till tomorrow and get all three. Boy, you sure got plenty brains up there in your chromium.
My chromium?
Yeah. You know, your gray matter. I'll bet you got some twisty curves in your Sarah Bellamy.
Well, I guess my Sarah's as curvy as the next one. But, Stretch, what we wanted to ask you about was Mr. Conklin's car.
Yes, is it all ready to roll?
Sure. What do you want me to roll it?
This boy is psychic. Now, we've got to be careful. Now, when Mr. Conklin lets us use his car for Madison's new driving class last week, it got pretty badly banged up, didn't it, Stretch?
But now that it's all fixed, it could be used to give one more lesson, couldn't it?
And what better pupil could we have to take the lesson than Stretch? I'll meet you out front in 10 minutes.
Not so fast, Miss Brooks. First, I gotta eat.
Of course you do. And I want you to eat a nice leisurely meal, Stretch. But there's one thing I want to tell you before you bolt down a sandwich. When you go to the garage to get the car, be sure and back it out carefully.
Okay, Miss Brooks. I'll see you in front of the school in about 10 minutes.
Now be sure and back it out of the garage, Stretch.
I will.
Well, Miss Brooks, if you're meeting Stretch in 10 minutes, you better get your dessert.
Oh, there's no hurry, Mr. Boynton. I don't think I'll have to give Stretch a lesson if he obeys instructions.
What do you mean?
You heard me tell him to back the car out of the garage, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, after the accident the other day, I backed it in.
Miss Brooks, Mr. Boynton, I don't like to disturb your lunch, but I gotta talk to you.
We're all finished, Walter. What is it?
Well, I just came from the school garage. Mr. Conklin's been in to look at his car.
How did he find it?
He just scraped the back wall with a penknife, and there it was. Stretch Snodgrass did something horrible again.
Good old Stretch. Now Mr. Conklin won't be able to drive up for the band contest.
That's what you think. He's going on the 6 p.m. train. He'll be there first thing in the morning.
But that'll be disastrous. If he gets to practice with the band, we're sunk.
Don't I know it?
Miss Brooks, we've got to put our heads together.
You're right, Mr. Boynton. Goodbye, Walter.
Please, Miss Brooks, you've got to concentrate on the immediate problem. Your long-range aims can wait. I mean, you just got to keep Mr. Conklin from making that train.
Yes, but how?
Well, I don't know. All I know is he says he never sleeps very well on trains. So he's going home right after school and take a nap.
A nap? Wait a minute. I think I've got something. Come closer, Mr. Boynton.
Yes, Miss Brooks?
Still closer.
Like this?
Goodbye, Walter. Here's the idea. If he's going to take a nap, maybe we can set the clocks back in his house so that when he wakes up, he'll think it's much earlier and miss the train.
But is that the only train to Oakhurst today?
Definitely. Oh, what an idea. Miss Brooks, I'd give $100 for the right to x-ray the remarkable gray matter in your cranial cavity.
Why, Walter, what a lovely thing to say about the cerebellum in my chromium.
He's asleep, Walter. Daddy's fast asleep on the couch.
I don't know how he can sleep with all that noise he's making. I'd sure hate to be your mother.
I wouldn't like that arrangement either. Now, you set back that clock over there, and I'll take care of this one on the mantel.
Okay. Let's see. It's 10 after 5 now. I'll just set it back an hour.
I'll do the same with this one. Then we'll take care of the clocks upstairs and in the kitchen.
Check. Oh, did you leave the front door open for Miss Brooks? She's coming over to help divert your daddy's attention until train time.
It's open, Walter. Now, you take the library clock, and I'll go up to the bedrooms and see that everything is set up all right in that.
This way, Stretch. Mr. Conklin's asleep on the couch.
Good. Now, you want me to set this clock back an hour, right?
Right. I'll set this one back on the mantel. There.
Gosh, he sounds like an angry sea lion. I think he's waking up.
I thought it was a car backfiring.
Well, I'd better get out of here. Mr. Conklin and me aren't on terms.
Miss Brooks, Snodgrass.
Oh, don't get up, Mr. Conklin. Just lie there and relax. We'll all pull up chairs and chat with you for a while.
Chat with me, but why? Snodgrass, there's something I'd like to ask you.
I thought there might be.
Did you have anything to do with wrecking my car this afternoon?
I'd rather not answer that question, sir.
Why not?
Because my parents brought me up not to be no liar. Well, I gotta go to football practice now. Goodbye, Miss Brooks. See you soon, Mr. Conklin, I guess.
It's just as well he left. I shouldn't upset my temperament before the band concert. By the way, it must be getting toward train time.
Oh, no, you've got loads of time, Mr. Conklin.
Oh, what time is it?
It's 3:15. See, by that clock over there?
3:15? That's peculiar.
What's peculiar?
As I recall, I didn't lie down until 3:30.
Well, you know how swiftly time passes when you're sleeping.
It might pass swiftly, but it doesn't pass backwards. Look outside, it's almost dark.
Oh, hadn't you heard? There's an eclipse of the sun today.
Hi, Miss Brooks.
Hello, Miss Brooks. I hope you didn't wake up old Marblehead. Ooh, hi there, Mr. How are you? Have a nice nap? How's every little whole thing?
Oh, quiet, What time do you have, Harriet?
Oh, you've got plenty of time, Daddy. It's only 4:15.
4:15? But Miss Brooks says it's 3:15.
That's a democracy for you. Everyone's entitled to his own time.
Now, see here, I've got to know just where I stand with that train.
It's 4:15, Mr. Conklin. That's what the time is, actually.
Then why did you keep insisting that it was 3:15?
Once I've had a taste of daylight saving, I'm a very hard loser.
Excuse me, but the door was open, so I just...
Oh, come in, Boynton, come in. Will you please tell me what time it is?
Oh, certainly, sir. It's
4:15.
No, it's 5:30.
Well, that's what makes horse races.
5:30? Then I haven't a minute to lose. It's a half-hour drive to the station from here. Fortunately, I'm all packed. Hand me that valise, somebody.
Here you are, Mr. Conklin. Oh! Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Did it catch your toes?
Just a few of them, Mister. Now, I've got to get out of here. Boynton, did you drive over here?
Yes, sir, but my car...
It's too late for me to call a cab now. Will you drive me?
Me? Well, I'd like to, sir, but I've got a very important engagement in 2 minutes. It's vital, sir, and
Would you like me to drive you?
Miss Brooks, I can only answer that query by remarking that there is nothing more useless than a dead tuba player. No. If you don't mind, Boynton, I'll borrow your car and drive myself to the station.
Well, I guess that'll be all right, Mr. Conklin. It's parked right in front of the house.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, Daddy.
Bye, Mr. Conklin.
There's one more favor I'd like to ask of you, Boynton.
Yes, Mr. Conklin?
May I borrow the keys?
Certainly. Here you are, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Boynton, how could you do this to us and to yourself? Mr. Conklin will make that train to Oakhurst easily now.
Oh, no, he won't, Miss Brooks. The reason I came over here this afternoon was to borrow a few dollars.
What for?
For gasoline. There isn't enough gas in my car to take it another 8 blocks.
Mr. Boynton, I could kiss you.
So could I.
Back away, children. He's been spoken for.
Miss Brooks returns in just a moment, but first...
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl.
Tonight? Yes, tonight. Show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a Luster Cream shampoo. Luster Cream, world's finest shampoo. No other shampoo in the world gives you Kay Daumit's magic blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Better than a soap, better than a liquid, Luster Cream is a dainty cream shampoo. Leaves hair 3 ways lovelier. Fragrantly clean. Free of loose dandruff. Glistening with sheen. Soft. Manageable. Even in hardest water, Luster Cream lathers instantly. So gentle, Luster Cream is wonderful even for children's hair. Tonight? Yes, tonight, try Luster Cream shampoo.
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a luster cream shampoo.
And now, once again, here is our Miss Brooks.
Well, by dinner time, Mr. Conklin hadn't returned, and we assumed that Mr. Boynton's car had run out of gas, and Mr. Conklin had run out of time and missed the train to Oakhurst. But the next morning at breakfast, the phone rang, and Mrs. Davis answered.
Hello? Yes? Who? Yes, just a minute. Connie, it's for you. It's a message from Oakhurst.
Hello? This is Connie Brooks. What's the message, please? Yes, but what are you going to do for an encore?
This is Vern Smith reminding you to tune in next week to another Our Miss Brooks show brought to you by Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair and Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay. Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, is produced by Larry Burns, written by Al Lewis, with music by Wilbur Hatch.
Doctors prove Palmolive soap can bring you a lovelier complexion in 14 days. Yes, 36 leading skin specialists proved in tests on 1,285 different women that Palmolive soap facials using nothing but Palmolive brought new complexion beauty to 2 women out of 3. Just wash your face 3 times daily with Palmolive soap. Each time for 60 seconds, massaging Palmolive's beauty lather onto your skin. Then rinse and pat dry. So start your Palmolive facials today. Remember, doctors prove Palmolive soap can bring you a lovelier complexion in 14 days.
If you like mysteries that are as full of chuckles as chills, be sure to hear Mr. and Mrs. North every Tuesday over this same network. Don't miss the exciting and laughable adventures of these amateur detectives. Hear Mr. and Mrs. North every Tuesday night. And be with us again next week at this same time for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks. Bob Lamont speaking. Stay tuned now for Jack Benny. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay and Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair bring you Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. It's time once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks, under the direction of Al Lewis. Well, in the years Our Miss Brooks has been teaching English at Madison High School, her principal, Osgood Conklin, has made his own appraisal of her worth. Now, whenever a position of responsibility is open at Madison, Miss Brooks is the first name that pops into Mr. Conklin's mind.
That's so he can pop it right out again. Oddly enough, though, he did put me in charge of Madison's Christmas drive for second-hand clothing. I discussed my new duties with my landlady over breakfast last Friday.
But, Connie, Christmas is only 10 days off. Why did Mr. Conklin wait until now to start his clothing drive?
I guess he couldn't make up his mind about one important item, Mrs. Davis.
What's that?
Whether he should organize the teachers to get clothes for the needy, or organize the needy to get clothes for the teachers. But it is a good cause.
What are you donating, Connie?
I'm giving an old dress of mine, Mrs. Davis.
But you're the head of the drive. Is one dress enough?
I was going to give 2, Mrs. Davis, but I remembered a Board of Education rule that says a teacher can't appear in public in a slip.
Well, I'm going to help out, too, Connie. I've got my donation right on this chair.
Oh, that's very nice of you, Mrs. Davis.
I couldn't decide whether to give my old bathrobe or my old overcoat to the drive. But I finally made up my mind. Here you are, dear.
Say, this bathrobe is in pretty good condition.
That's the overcoat.
Well, I'd better get ready to leave. Walter Denton's picking me up soon.
Oh, before you go, Connie, do you still plan on doing your Christmas shopping this afternoon?
Oh, yes, indeed, Mrs. Davis. I've got the $25 I saved up this year right in this envelope.
Good. I made out a little Christmas list of my own. I figured that with you being downtown anyway and me having so many things to do around the house, you wouldn't mind making a few simple purchases for me.
Oh, I'll be glad to, Mrs. Davis. What do you want me to get?
I've got the names and the presents all itemized, Connie, and here's $25 I've saved up.
How many presents do you want me to get?
Just for the immediate family. My sister Angela, my brother Victor, a couple of cousins. It only comes to 12 gifts altogether. Are you sure you don't mind doing my shopping for me, Connie?
Not at all, Mrs. Davis. I just have one problem.
What's that?
Who'll I get to do mine? It was very nice of you to secure these old clothes from your friends and neighbors, Walter. You must have put in quite a lot of effort into this drive.
For sweet charity and you, I'd bust a gut.
Walter, please. The word is burst.
Sorry. But how do you like my contribution, Miss Brooks?
It's lovely, Walter. Some old lady'll be delighted with this lace shawl.
That's my old sweatshirt. I guess some moths took a taste of it.
Some moths left a taste of it. Thanks for the contribution.
Well, that's not all I'm doing for your drive, Miss Brooks. Wait till you see the headline in the school paper today.
The Monitor? What does it say?
It says, Miss Brooks needs clothes desperately. Does that sound urgent enough, Miss Brooks?
Urgent? Sounds like I was caught backstage at a burlesque show. But I appreciate your interest in this drive, Walter, and if there's ever anything I can do to reciprocate...
There he is, Miss Brooks. You see, I haven't bought Harriet Conklin her Christmas present yet, and I thought maybe you could make a suggestion.
Well, what kind of a present do you have in mind?
Well, I want something that appears luxurious without being excessively opulent. Something steeped in gentility rather than touched by flamboyance. In a word, it should be a gift that conveys to its recipient all the ardor and sincerity of its meticulous donor.
How much do you want to spend?
$1.25.
Why don't you just send her your description of what the gift should be like? I'll try and help you out, though, Walter. I'm doing my Christmas shopping this afternoon. Maybe I'll get an idea.
Miss Brooks, did you say that you're going shopping today?
I get the feeling that yes would be a fatal answer here. But yes, Walter, I am.
Oh, what a fortunate coincidence. Now, what could be simpler than to leave the selection of Harriet's present up to you?
But, Walter, I've got so many
You'll
things.
be passing the store counters anyway, Miss Brooks. And who has a finer taste than you have? Who has a better sense of values? An eye for beauty?
Walter, you ought to know me well enough by now to realize that flattery will get you somewhere.
I knew you'd do it. Oh, I can't think of anyone I'd rather have select presents for Harriet and my mother.
Well, I figured, wait a minute, who raised?
Oh, it'll be a cinch, Miss Brooks. Well, my mother is very easily pleased.
That's obvious.
After all, who knows women and their desires better than you do? And while you're there, you can get my father's present, too.
Why, Walter, you're implying that I know men and their desires, too.
No men. Oh, Miss Brooks, when it comes to men, no one even comes near you.
Don't rub it in.
Here, Miss Brooks, take this $5 bill and put it in your bag.
All right, Walter. Oh, dear, I forgot my bag. I'll just put it in this envelope with the other money.
I'm sure grateful for this favor, Miss Brooks. I know you wouldn't do this for just anybody.
You're right, Walter. This year, I'm doing it for just everybody. Why, hello, Mr. Boynton. What brings you to first-year English?
Miss Brooks, I've got something for you.
Well, it took you long enough to find it out. You mean those clothes?
Yes, I brought some things in for the drive. Something of mine and a suit of Mr. Conklin's. He asked me to bring it in before your first class starts.
Oh, we've got minutes yet, Mr. Boynton. Just put them down with the rest of the things.
Okay. Say, that's quite a stack you've got there.
I know. I've been dieting.
I was talking about the pile of clothes. I wish I could have given more to the Christmas drive than I did, Miss Brooks.
I think you've made a splendid contribution, Mr. Boynton.
You do?
Some shivering derelict will be tickled with those tennis shorts.
Those are slacks, Miss Brooks. It's just the way they're folded. I'd like to have given a suit like this one Mr. Conklin donated. This still has plenty of wear in it.
It does seem to be in pretty good shape.
I'll say it does. Why, with a little fixing here and there, a few alterations, a good cleaning and pressing.
Get that look out of your eye. He'd recognize it on you in a minute. By the way, where's your jacket?
Oh, this bundle was pretty heavy, so I left it in the lab. I can work better this way, if you'll forgive my shirt sleeves. Now, can I help you sort these clothes?
Oh, no, thanks, Mr. Boynton. They'll do that at the mission. They're sending a truck for the stuff around lunchtime. At least I hope it gets here by then. I don't want to get tied up this afternoon. I have a lot of Christmas shopping to do.
Oh, I see. Miss Brooks, could I ask you something?
I do. I mean... Why, of course, Mr. Boynton.
You say you're going to do your Christmas shopping this afternoon?
What in the world gave you that idea?
Just said so.
Me and my big mouth. Well, I am going to shop, Mr. Boynton, but
Oh, what
I
a
don't...
fortunate coincidence. I've got to clean up my lab today, and, well, if you're going to be downtown anyway, what would be simpler than to leave the selection of my parents' gifts to you?
Mr. Boynton, I simply won't have time.
Oh, but
I'm
Miss
sorry.
Brooks, you'll be passing the store counters anyway, and who has finer taste than you have?
Who has a better sense of values or an eye for beauty?
Well, who indeed? I can't think of anyone who would know better what my parents and my Aunt Mattie and Uncle Fred would like.
Aunt Mattie and Uncle Fred?
They're Cousin Liza's parents. Oh, she's on the list, too, right after Mike and Danny, my twin nephews.
Well, what about your Boy Scout troop? Don't you want me to get presents for them?
Will you have time?
Sure, I stay open late during the holidays. Look, Mr. Boynton, I'll get as much of your shopping done as I possibly can.
Oh, fine. Here's the list, Miss Brooks, and here's $20.
Oh, I'll just slip it into this envelope with Mrs. Davis's and Walter's and my money.
Walter and Mrs. Davis have money in there, too?
Yes, they've also subscribed to the Brooks shopping service. Now, I've got to get over to the home economics room. The kids in there were supposed to collect some stuff for the drive, too.
Well, I'll give you a hand, Miss Brooks.
I'll take it. Oh. First, I'd better put this envelope in my desk. Oh, dear, it's locked, and I've left the key at home in my bag. Would you mind putting the envelope in your trouser pocket, Mr. Boynton?
Well, This is a trifle embarrassing, Miss Brooks, but I'm afraid I've got holes in all my pockets. I'm still a bachelor, you know.
I know. I mean, that's easily remedied, Mr. Boynton.
Well, of course it is. While we're in the home economics room, you can sew up the pockets.
That's not what I had in mind, but it's a start. Meanwhile, I'll just put this envelope in the breast pocket of Mr. Conklin's suit on top of this pile. It'll be safe here for a few minutes.
Well, it's safer than carrying it around, I guess.
All set. Come on, Mr. Boynton. We're off to get domestic. I hope they've got a nice batch of stuff in there. Mr. Conklin expects to surpass last year's drive.
Well, here are the bundles, Harriet. Yeah, but there's no sign of Miss Brooks. I guess the people from the mission got here sooner than she expected.
I guess so.
Well, come on. Let's haul this stuff out to their truck.
But, Walter, don't you think we should consult Miss Brooks before we take it?
Why bother her about it? She knows where it's going. Besides, we're saving her the trouble of carrying this stuff out herself.
Well, if you think so, Walter.
Believe me, when Miss Brooks finds out what we've done for her, she'll thank us till she's blue in the face.
Brush your teeth with Colgate. Colgate Dental Cream. It cleans your breath.
Water toothpaste.
Water cleans your teeth.
Colgate toothpaste.
Cleans your breath.
Water toothpaste.
Water cleans your teeth.
Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. And the Colgate way stops tooth decay best.
More than 2 years' research showed the Colgate way of brushing teeth right after eating helps stop more decay for more people than ever before reported in dentifrice history. Yes, the Colgate way stopped tooth decay best. Better than any other home method of oral hygiene.
No other dentifrice, ammoniated or not, has proof of such results. And you should know that Colgate's, while not mentioned by name, was the one and only toothpaste used in the research on tooth decay recently reported in Reader's Digest.
So always follow the Colgate way to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and stop tooth decay best.
Brush your teeth with Colgate. Colgate Dental Cream. It cleans your breath.
Water toothpaste.
Water cleans your teeth.
And the Colgate way stops tooth decay best.
Well, when I got back to my room and discovered the absence of Mr. Conklin's suit containing $75 belonging to Walter, Mrs. Davis, Mr. Boynton, and me, I was fit, as the old expression goes, to be tied. The suit itself wasn't worth anywhere near $75. In fact, no suit of Mr. Conklin's is worth that much money, even with him in it. But my problem now was getting it back. And in my first free period, I headed for the biology lab to consult Mr. Boynton.
Good morning, Miss Brooks.
Oh, it's you, Mr. Conklin. You startled me.
Really? But I addressed you in quite a well-modulated tone.
I guess that's what startled me. That is, I didn't see you sidle out of your office.
I don't sidle, Miss Brooks. There's absolutely no necessity for me to pussyfoot through the halls of Madison.
Oh, I know it's not a necessity, Mr. Conklin. It's sort of a luxury. I'm a little upset this morning, sir, about the clothing drive.
But I understand you've done a splendid job. In fact, I stepped out here to congratulate you on vindicating my confidence in you.
Well, that's very nice, Mr. Conklin, but
It didn't take me long to select the right person to head the Christmas drive, Miss Brooks. The moment the idea of old clothes hit me, I thought of you.
I was a natural, all right.
Of course, I gave other members of the faculty my careful consideration, too. But it wasn't long before I said to myself, Osgood, Miss Brooks is your man.
Isn't it funny? That's how Mr. Boynton feels about me, too. Look, Mr. Conklin, there's something I've got to do
Of course, I wouldn't keep you from your work for the world. Especially such charitable work, Miss Brooks. If more of us could realize what genuine satisfaction the spirit of giving evokes, the world would be a brighter place.
Well, I'm brightening my little corner like mad.
This is a great thing we're doing, Miss Brooks, giving to our fellow man. This is the true Christmas feeling. And we must all give until it hurts.
It hurts. Please, Mr. Conklin, if you'll excuse me,
I wouldn't think of detaining you another minute. Oh, before you go, how did you like my contribution to the drive?
Wonderful, Mr. Conklin. It's a very nice suit.
I'll say it was nice. And it still had several years' wear in it. I just bought it in 46.
1946? I mean, you can tell it's quite new.
Outside of a few battle scars, it hardly looks second-hand.
Battle scars?
Yes, like the time you spilled a bottle of ink on it. Not all of the ink could be removed.
Oh, but that wasn't even noticeable, Mr. Conklin.
No, it wasn't. After I had the suit dyed from brown to blue. However, that suit always held something for me.
It's loaded for me. That's what I've got to find out about, Mr. Conklin. You see, I left something in the pocket, and, well, I've just got to get back that suit.
But you can't do that, Miss Brooks. Once I've made a donation, I never take it back. How would it look to the folks at the mission?
But there's no way for them to tell your suit from any of the others.
Oh, but there is. My name is stenciled into the lining. Not that I wanted anyone to know I was giving, of course.
You just didn't want anyone not to know.
Oh, Daddy, there's a call for you in your office. Will you get it?
I'll call them back, Harriet.
But it's Mother. She says it's urgent.
With your mother, it's always urgent. Probably wants me to bring home a paper.
You'd better talk to her, Mr. Conklin. I'm going in to see Mr. Boynton about our predicament.
Very well, Miss Brooks, but remember, it is better to give than to receive.
That may be, Mr. Conklin. But if I may show off my background in English literature, there's another famous parable which goes, as good as it is to give, it's better to get back that which ain't yours to give.
What a fuss to make over a few dollars. Some people are just mercenary, I guess. Hello. Yes, Martha, what is it? Have I had your necklace repaired yet? I don't remember your giving it to me. What? You put it in the pocket of my blue suit Wednesday night? Martha, was that my brown-dyed blue suit? It was, but I donated that to the Christmas clothing drive today. And that necklace had a genuine opal in it. I've got to get it back. I'm not excited. No. Now, don't give me that bull about charity. I'll get that suit back if I have to rip the mission apart with my bare hand.
Come in.
Oh, I'm glad I caught you before you went to lunch, Mr. Boynton.
I was just cleaning up the lab, Miss Brooks. What's the trouble?
Mr. Conklin's suit has been picked up and delivered to the mission.
Oh, that's nothing to get excited about. It's supposed to go there, isn't it?
Yes, but the money is still in it. I don't know what to do.
Oh, now, take it easy, Miss Brooks. What money is still in it?
The shopping money. Mine, Mrs. Davis's, Walter's, and yours.
I must have tripped over the stool. What time are they going to distribute this clothing, Miss Brooks?
This afternoon, Mr. Boynton. We've just got to get down to that mission and get the suit back.
Well, are you sure you could identify Mr. Conklin's suit?
With the things I've spilled on it, if I can't identify it, it'll identify me. How are we going to go about getting it?
Well, we'll simply park outside the mission and watch every person who leaves the premises. In that way, we're bound to see who walks out with Mr. Conklin's suit on. The rest is up to you.
What do I do? Pick his pocket while he waits for a bus?
Please, Miss Brooks, we'll devise some sort of scheme on the way downtown. Now, meanwhile, let's be calm about it. It isn't the end of the world, even if we fail to recover the money. Heaven forfend. You've looked through this mission window for 10 minutes now, Miss Brooks. Have you seen Mr. Conklin's suit yet?
No, but I spotted the dress I donated, and I've been following its progress.
What's happened to it?
It's been rejected 3 times.
Say, isn't that Mr. Conklin's suit heading for the door?
Alone? Oh, you mean on that little man? Yes, I think it is. You better get on the other side of the door.
Oh, don't worry, Miss Brooks. I'll do my part to help get it back. Now, good luck.
Oh, pardon me, my good man.
Yes?
May I speak with you for just a moment?
Yes?
It's about that suit you've got on. Are you quite satisfied with it?
Yeah?
Yeah? Yeah, but look at the way it fits. If I were you, I'd take it back at once.
What do you want me to do, go around in my underwear?
Yeah. I mean, of course. Maybe you could get a better one. Now, there's no reason why you shouldn't do every bit as well as this man coming toward us now. I'm sure he got his suit in the mission. Pardon me, Bud, but did you get that suit at the counter inside?
Yeah?
It's contagious. You say that's a mission suit you've got on.
Well, sure. I just got it.
Boy, were you gypped.
Gypped? You mean to say you wouldn't like to look like he does?
If I wanted to look like he does, I wouldn't have turned in the suit they're burning.
Well, I didn't want to mention this, but I guess I'll have to. Do you know who wore that suit before you, as recently as last Wednesday?
Who?
I don't want to come right out and say, but, well, the fellow had his hands crossed on his chest with a lily in them.
A stiff, huh?
Let's just say he wasn't very active.
Now, don't you think you ought to trade that suit in for another one? After all, its last owner might not like the idea of your wearing it. He might come back after it.
Baloney. I don't believe in that kind of stuff.
Miss Brooks, Mr. Boynton, I've got to talk to you at once.
Why, Mr. Conklin, what are you doing here?
I've had a change of heart about my donation. I'd like to get it back.
Boy, what an Indian giver.
I don't believe I know you, my good man.
Ferguson's the name. Cosmo Ferguson.
How do you do?
But, Mr. Conklin, why do you want your suit back?
Because of something that my wife put into Ferguson, you're wearing my suit.
What do you mean, your suit?
I happen to have worn that garment as recently as last Wednesday.
Holy cow, it's a stiff.
What's that?
This lady said the suit was on a dead guy last Wednesday.
I must have caught you while you were dozing, Mr. Conklin.
Look, I've just got to have that suit back. It has a sentimental attraction for me. Be a good fellow and return it.
Nothing doing. I was handed this suit and told it was mine to keep. Now I'm leaving.
Oh, wait. I'll get you another suit. Please, Mr. Ferguson, be reasonable.
No.
Oh, come on, Cosmo. You don't want that old suit.
Of course you don't.
Give it here.
Take your hands off of me, Pompous, or there'll be trouble.
That's the idea. You and him fight. I'll hold your coat.
I'm not gonna fight. I'm just going.
No, wait. I'll give you $5 for that suit.
I'm staying.
I'll give you $6 for it.
Miss Brooks, why are you bidding for this suit?
It's got a sentimental attraction for me, too. I've spilled more on that suit than any of your others.
I'll give you $10.
12.
18.
19.
Gee, and I always thought they just sang songs at Mission.
I'll bid $20.
25.
30.
Mr. Conklin, did you bid $30 for this old suit?
Yes, I guess I did. Let's make that 27.
22.
17.
11.
Wait a minute now. I accept the lady's previous offer of 25.
But how do you know she has the money to pay for it?
Have you?
I will have as soon as I get that coat.
Just a minute. I'll give you $25 and the suit I've got on for that one.
It's a deal. Let's go inside and change.
We can do that later. Let's change coats immediately.
Okay.
There.
You know, I might parlay this Mission business into a clothing factory.
Oh, Miss Brooks. Hi, everybody.
Walter.
Well, I'm all through helping out in the mission. How'd you like the way I handle things?
Oh, you were divine, Walter. But I can't talk to you right now. There's a matter of $75 I've got to recover. Mr. Conklin, now that you've changed coats, would you mind looking through the pockets, please?
That's just what I am doing, Miss Brooks, and I'd better find it. It's not here.
But it was in the inside breast pocket, Mr. Conklin.
No, it was not. It was in the side pocket.
Oh, you're both wrong. Harriet and I went through the pockets before we turned it into the mission people. We found Mrs. Conklin's necklace and all our shopping money, Miss Brooks.
What? Ferguson, give me back that coat.
Not a chance. I'm getting out of here. You people are all daft.
But my $25. And you too. Ferguson, wait. Cosmo, we'll make another deal.
old Marblehead. Mr. Conklin, why's he running after that bum?
You tell him, Miss Brooks.
All I can say is it's definitely better to give than to get, especially where Cosmo's going to get it.
Eve Arden as our Miss Brooks returns in just a moment, but first...
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl.
Tonight? Yes, tonight, show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a Luster Cream shampoo. Luster Cream, world's finest shampoo. No other shampoo in the world gives you Kay Daumit's magic blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Better than a soap, better than a liquid, Luster Cream is a dainty cream shampoo. Leaves hair 3 ways lovelier. Fragrantly clean, free of loose dandruff, glistening with sheen, soft, manageable. Even in hardest water, Luster Cream lathers instantly. So gentle, Luster Cream is wonderful even for children's hair. Tonight? Yes, tonight, try Luster Cream shampoo.
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a luster cream shampoo.
And now, once again, here is our Miss Brooks.
Well, Cosmo didn't get very far because Mr. Conklin hit him with a flying tackle, recovered his coat and the money, and left. But Mr. Boynton and I felt so sorry for Cosmo that we chipped in and gave him $2.
Gee, thanks, folks.
Oh, you're very welcome, Cosmo. Merry Christmas. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to get on with my Christmas shopping.
Oh, are you going to do your Christmas shopping now, Miss Brooks?
Yes, I am.
Well, if you're going to be in the stores anyway, would you take this $2 and get something for me?
Well, what do you want, Cosmo?
A set of brass knuckles and Mr. Conklin's address.
Why, I'm surprised at you, Cosmo. Spending $2 for brass knuckles. For 49 cents, you can get a hammer.
Reminding you to tune in next week to another Our Miss Brooks show, brought to you by Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair, and Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay.
Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, is produced by Larry Burns, written by Al Lewis, with the music of Wilbur Hatch. Mr. Boynton is played by Jeff Chandler, Mr. Conklin by Gail Gordon. Others in tonight's cast were Jane Morgan, Dick Crenna, Gloria McMillan, and Parley Bayer.
You want a beauty soap for a beauty bath.
And your bath becomes a beauty bath when you change to proper cleansing with Palmolive soap.
For bathing with this beauty soap brings you the full beautifying effects of Palmolive's mild and gentle lather, proved by doctors to bring most women lovelier complexions in just 14 days.
Bath-size Palmolive is designed to give you everything you need for all-over beauty care. Fragrance for daintiness, mildness for loveliness, purity for gentleness, big bath size for thriftiness.
So get big bath size Palmolive. So mild, so pure, so right for all of you.
If you like mysteries that are as full of chuckles as chills, be sure to hear Mr. and Mrs. North every Tuesday over this same network. Don't miss the exciting and laughable adventures of these amateur detectives. Hear Mr. and Mrs. North every Tuesday night. And be with us again next week at this same time for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks. Bob Lamont speaking. Stay tuned now for Jack Benny. This is CBS Columbia Broadcasting System.